The lower district of Nova Arc 7 was a place forgotten by time. The roads were cracked, the lights flickered, and the air always smelled like burning wires. Giant towers stretched into the sky above, far out of reach for the people living below. Here, in the shadows of the wealthy, lived a girl named Mina. Mina was not rich, not famous, and not special by most standards. But she had something rare, a kind heart and strong courage. She lived in a small room above an old repair shop, where she worked fixing broken machines. Every day, she walked the crowded lanes, helping customers who couldn't afford fancy service robots. Her hands were always dirty, her clothes patched, but her smile was honest. One cloudy afternoon, as Mina was carrying a broken food dispenser to her shop, she heard shouting in the plaza nearby. People were standing in a circle, watching something. Curious, she moved closer. In the center of the crowd stood an elderly woman, dressed in plain clothes, her hair silver and tied in a bun. Two men in rich uniforms were yelling at her, "You have no ID. No permission to be in this zone." One guard barked. "I just wanted to sit," the woman replied calmly. "My legs are tired. I meant no harm." The other man laughed cruelly. "Then crawl back to the slums where you belong, old lady." With that, he shoved her. The woman stumbled and fell hard on the ground. Mina's eyes widened. Her chest burned with anger. She pushed through the crowd and stepped between the guards. And the woman, "Stop it," she shouted. "She's done nothing wrong." One guard frowned. "Who are you to speak here?" "I'm a citizen, same as you," Mina said firmly. "And I won't let you treat her like this. She has no clearance." The second guard snapped. "She's old, not dangerous," Mina said. She helped the woman up gently, brushing dust off her dress. "Is this how you treat the elderly?" The crowd began to murmur. Some took out small cams to record. The guards looked nervous now. They didn't want trouble on record. "Be careful who you stand against." One guard hissed. "I'm not scared of uniforms," Mina replied. "I'm scared of losing humanity." The guards, seeing the growing attention, stepped back and walked away angrily. The crowd began to leave too, bored now that the drama was over. Mina turned to the woman. "Are you hurt?" The elderly woman looked at her with quiet eyes. "Just a little bruised. Thank you, dear." "Not many would help a stranger." "You're not a stranger. You're someone who needed help," Mina said. "Come, my shop is nearby. Let me get you something warm to drink." The woman smiled. "You're very kind." Mina led her through the side alleys to her tiny room above the repair shop. It was small, just a bed, a table, a workbench, and a heater. But it was clean. She boiled some water and made tea from dried herbs. "Sorry, it's not fancy, it's all I have." "It's perfect," the woman said. She sipped slowly, her eyes studying Mina. "You live here alone?" she asked. Mina nodded. "My parents died when I was a teen. I've been on my own since. I fix tech, salvage scrap, sell parts." The woman looked at the tools and small inventions on the workbench. "You're smart, and brave too." Mina smiled shyly. "I just do what I can." "What's your name, Mina, and you?" The woman hesitated for a second, then answered, "You can call me Ilara." "Ilara," Mina repeated. "Pretty name." They talked for an hour. Mina shared stories of her life in the lower district, how water rations were unfair, how rich people never saw the pain below. Ilara listened closely, nodding now and then. Finally, Ilara stood up slowly. "Thank you, Mina, for everything. You showed great strength today." "It was nothing," Mina said. "I just couldn't watch them treat you like that." "It was more than something," Ilara said. She reached into her coat and pulled out a small coin. It was old, silver, and had a strange symbol on one side, a star within a triangle. "Take this." Mina looked at it. "What is it?" "A token," Ilara said with a mysterious smile. "If life ever becomes too hard, or if you find yourself lost, keep this. It might open a door." Mina felt the cold metal in her palm. It looked ordinary, but something about it felt important. "Thank you," she said quietly. Ilara nodded and walked to the door. "I'll see you again, Mina." With that, the old woman left. Mina stood for a while, staring at the coin. She didn't know who Ilara really was. She didn't know her name was known even in the highest towers of the colony. She didn't know that her small act of kindness was about to change her life forever. Outside, the rain began to fall, washing the dust from the streets. And inside, Mina sat at her workbench, unaware that destiny had already started to knock on her door. A week had passed since Mina helped the elderly woman in the plaza. Life in the lower district of Nova Arc 7 continued as usual, loud, crowded, and always one step away from breaking down. Mina was busy in her shop, fixing a solar battery for a customer, when she heard the deep hum of something strange outside. She looked out the window and froze. Sleek black hovercraft had landed right in front of her shop. It wasn't like the cargo haulers or the district patrols. This one was silent, smooth, and shining like liquid metal. The symbol on its side was clear, a silver triangle with a star in the center. The same symbol as the coin Ilara had given her. People in the street whispered and stared. Mina stepped outside just as the craft's door opened. Two tall guards in dark armor stepped out. "Citizen Mina," one said, his voice calm but firm. "You are requested to come with us." Mina's heart pounded. "For what? What did I do?" "You are not in trouble," the second guard replied. "A high-ranking official wishes to meet you." "Official?" Mina blinked. "Who?" "You." "We'll know soon," the first guard said. "Please come. It's important." Unsure, nervous, but curious, Mina followed them into the hovercraft. The inside was quiet and clean, like something from another world. Soft lights glowed from the walls. A machine offered her a warm drink, but she was too tense to take it. The craft rose and flew fast above the colony. Through the window, Mina saw the dirty streets fade away and the tall glass towers of the upper district appear. She had never been this high in her life. It felt like flying into another world. They arrived at a building so tall it disappeared into the sky. Vertex Tower. It was the heart of Zenith Corp, the most powerful company in the colony, and maybe even the entire system. The guards led Mina through shining halls filled with quiet workers in clean uniforms. She felt out of place in her patched coat and worn shoes. People looked at her but said nothing. They stopped in front of two giant doors. One guard opened it. Mina stepped inside a wide room with glass walls, showing a view of stars beyond the colony. There was a long table, a soft carpet, and standing near the window was a tall man in a dark suit. He turned as she entered. Young, sharp-eyed with black hair brushed neatly, he looked more like a warrior than a businessman. His voice was calm but strong. "You're Mina," he said. "Please come in." She stepped forward, nervous. "Yes, that's me." "I'm Cale Riven," he said, CEO of Zenith Corp. Mina's mouth fell open. She had heard his name before. Everyone had. The youngest CEO in history. A genius with tech, business, and strategy. But what did he want with her? "I don't understand," she said. "Why am I here?" Cale smiled slightly and touched a panel on the table. A screen appeared behind him. It showed a video from a street camera. It was the scene from the plaza. Mina saw herself again, stepping in front of the guards, protecting the elderly woman, helping her up. Mina watched in silence. When the video ended, Cale spoke softly. "That woman is my mother." Mina turned to him quickly, eyes wide. "What?" "Her name is Ilara Riven. She walks the lower district sometimes to see how people live," Cale explained. "But this time she was treated badly. You stood up for her, without knowing who she was. You protected her, gave her shelter." Mina felt her cheeks burn. "I didn't do it because of who she is. I just couldn't let them hurt her. That's exactly why she spoke so highly of you, Kale said. She came back that night, sat in my office, and told me everything. About you. She said, that girl has more honor in her small room than many in your tower. Mina didn't know what to say. Kale walked closer. So I wanted to meet you. I wanted to see for myself who you are. She looked at him, unsure. What now? You brought me here just to say thank you? He smiled, partly. But I also want to offer you a position. What? She said in shock. In our innovation lab, he continued. I've seen the tech you build. Your hands are skilled. Your mind is creative. You fixed that broken unit with scrap parts. No one else would touch. I want you to work with our engineers. You'll be paid well, trained, given a proper home. Mina blinked. Her heart beat faster. It sounded like a dream, but I'm just a street tech. I never went to a real school. I'm not like your people. Kale looked serious. That's why we need you. You think differently. You understand problems that others ignore. People like you are rare. Mina hesitated. It felt too fast, too big. Could she trust this? Then she remembered Ilara. Her smile, her kindness, her quiet strength. Maybe this wasn't a trap. Maybe it was a door, just like Ilara said. I'll try, Mina said quietly. If you really think I can help ... I'll do my best. Kale nodded. That's all I ask. He handed her a new badge, clean, silver, and glowing. Her name was printed on it in bold letters. Mina, Innovation Technician. Zenith Corp. As the guards escorted her to her new living quarters, a small but beautiful room high above the city. Mina held the badge in her hand and looked out the window at the stars. 1 week ago, she had been just another poor girl in the dust. Now, she was standing on the edge of something greater. And she had no idea that her story was only just beginning. Mina could hardly sleep that night. Her new room was high above the city, in one of the Zenith Corp towers. The bed was soft, the walls were clean, and the window showed a full view of the stars above Nova Arc 7. But Mina's heart and mind were not calm. Everything had changed so fast. Just a few days ago, she was patching broken wires in the dusty lower streets. Now she had a badge from the most powerful company in the colony and a keycard to her own private room. Her clothes were new, her tools polished, and people spoke to her with respect. It felt like a dream she might wake up from any second. The next morning, she stood in front of a tall mirror, wearing her new lab uniform. It was simple, dark gray with blue lines, but it felt like a crown on her shoulders. She looked at herself and whispered, "You can do this." At exactly 8 o'clock, a soft chime rang and the door slid open. A short woman with glasses stood there, holding a tablet. "You're Mina, right?" she asked, smiling. "I'm Sora, your lab assistant. I'm here to take you to the innovation wing." Mina nodded, feeling a mix of nerves and excitement. "Okay, I'm ready." As they walked through the upper levels, Sora pointed out different departments: biotech, defense research, drone control. The building was alive with quiet energy. People walked fast, spoke in soft voices, and focused on their work. "You'll be working in Lab 9, Sora said. "It's focused on energy tech, especially microgrids for low-tier zones." "That's why Kale thought of you." "Kale?" Mina asked, still unsure how to speak about the CEO. "Yes," Sora said casually. "He follows every project closely, especially the ones that help lower districts." They reached a wide glass door. It slid open to reveal a bright room filled with workbenches, screens, tools, and machines humming softly. A few engineers were already working, wearing the same gray uniform as Mina. Sora led her to a desk with her name already displayed on the fade on the screen. "Mina, Junior Tech Developer." Mina looked around. For a moment, she forgot all her fears. This was her world: wires, circuits, machines, and ideas waiting to be built. You can start with the damaged power converter, Sora said. We need it rebuilt for field testing, Mina smiled. On it. She picked up her tools and began working. Her hands moved with speed and confidence. She understood the problem at once. The power lines were overloaded. The storage unit was weak and the system needed a custom fuse. Hours passed. Mina was so focused she didn't even notice someone enter the lab. Looks like you fixed it already. She turned and saw Kale standing behind her, watching with interest. Oh, yes. I mean, almost. It just needs one more adjustment, Mina said, wiping her hands on her sleeve. Kale stepped closer and looked at the converter. Smart solution. Most people would just replace the unit, not repair it. I used scrap before. I had no choice. But to fix, not replace, she replied. Kale nodded. That's exactly the mindset we need here. Other engineers in the lab straightened up and watched silently as the CEO continued talking to Mina. She felt their eyes but focused on Kale. I'm impressed. Mina, really, he said. Thank you, sir, she said politely. He smiled. You don't have to call me sir every time. Okay, Kale, she said softly, still feeling a bit shy. Kale left the lab after a few minutes, and the room slowly returned to normal. But the other engineers now looked at Mina with more interest, and even a bit of respect. She had just been praised by the CEO in front of everyone. At lunch, Sora brought Mina to the Sky Cafe. It had a clear ceiling showing the stars, and the food was far better than anything Mina had tasted before. Real vegetables. Warm bread, clean water. You're doing great, Sora said. It's rare to see someone new catch the CEO's attention. So quickly, I didn't mean to, Mina said. I just want to help. That's the best reason, Sora replied. Later that evening, Mina walked alone through the quiet halls of the tower. She stopped at a balcony and looked down at the glowing city below. For the first time in her life, she felt hope, not just for herself, but for others in the lower districts too. Maybe, with this chance, she could build something that mattered. Suddenly, she heard footsteps behind her. Ilara, Mina said in surprise as the elderly woman approached with a warm smile. You're settling in well, I see, Ilara said. Mina nodded, happy to see her. Thank you for everything. Ilara stood beside her and looked out over the city. Do you remember what I said when I gave you that coin? Yes, Mina replied. You said it might open a door. Ilara smiled. And now you've stepped through it. But why me? Mina asked softly. There are many smart people in this colony. Many with better clothes, better education, better everything. Not better heart, Ilara said. You didn't help me to gain anything. That's why I trust you. That's why I told my son about you. Mina looked at her, surprised. So it was you who convinced him? Ilara nodded. I told him you were different. And now he sees it too. Mina didn't know what to say. Her life was changing faster than she could understand. But one thing was clear. Ilara believed in her, and so did Kale, and maybe, just maybe, she was starting to believe in herself too. Mina woke up before sunrise. Even though her new room was quiet and warm, her heart was full of excitement. It had only been a few days since she joined Zenith Corp, but everything already felt different. She had tools, a real lab bench, and a badge with her name on it. People greeted her politely now. They asked for her opinion. For someone who used to be invisible in the lower district, this felt like a new life. She got dressed and made her way to Lab 9, ready for another day of fixing broken converters. As she entered, Sora waved at her from across the room. Mina, good timing, she said. Kale wants to see you. Mina froze. Kale? Right now? Sora nodded. Yes, he asked for you personally. Go to the top floor, meeting room 42B. Use your badge. It will unlock the elevator. Mina's hands started to sweat. Why did Kale want to meet her again? Was something wrong? Did she make a mistake? She took a deep breath, wiped her palms on her uniform, and made her way to the special elevator at the end of the hall. The doors opened with a soft whoosh, and she stepped inside. As the elevator rose, she looked through the glass wall. The entire colony stretched below her. Buildings, roads, transport tubes, even the clouds. It felt like flying toward the stars. The elevator stopped at the top floor. The doors opened into a quiet hallway with white marble floors and gold lights along the walls. It was peaceful, almost like a museum. Mina walked to the door marked 42B, and it slid open automatically. Cale stood near a large table, looking at a floating screen filled with glowing charts and tech designs. When he saw her, he smiled. "Mina," he said. "Thanks for coming. Please have a seat." Mina sat across from him, her back straight and hands folded. "Did I do something wrong?" Cale laughed gently. "No, in fact, the opposite. I'm very impressed." Mina relaxed a little. "I looked through your work," he continued. "The new converter you repaired is working better than the factory models. You've used old methods in new ways. That's rare." "I just try to make things work with what I have," Mina said. "That's what innovation is," Cale replied. "It's not always about fancy tech. Sometimes it's about seeing things differently." He walked to the window and looked out. "My engineers are good," he said. "They know machines. But most of them never lived without power or clean water. You have. You know what people need. That's why I want you involved in a new project." Mina leaned forward. "A new project?" "Yes," Cale turned back to her. "We're building a portable energy unit for Sector 12. That zone loses power 3 times a week. People suffer. This unit will store energy and release it slowly over several days. But it needs to be small, cheap, and easy to fix. That's where you come in." Mina's eyes lit up. "I can help design it?" "You'll lead the prototype team," Cale said. "We'll give you 3 engineers. I'll check your progress personally." Mina blinked. Are you sure? I mean, I've only been here a few days." "I trust you," Cale said simply. "And my mother does too." At that, Mina smiled. "Ilara is very kind," Cale nodded. "She sees things in people. She saw something in you." There was a short silence between them, not awkward, just calm. Mina noticed Cale's eyes were tired, like he carried many heavy thoughts. She also noticed how he listened carefully when she spoke, unlike many others who only waited for their turn to talk. "I'll do my best," Mina said. "I won't let you down." "I know you won't," he replied. He walked back to the table and picked up a small silver card. "Here, this will give you access to the advanced lab. You'll need better tools for the prototype." Mina took the card carefully. "Thank you." As she stood to leave, Cale spoke again. "Mina." She looked back. "I'm glad my mother met you," he said softly. "You changed her day. Maybe more than that." Mina felt warmth in her chest. "She changed mine too." That evening, Mina returned to her room, holding the silver access card in her hand. The city lights below sparkled like stars, but her thoughts were far beyond them. The next morning, she entered the advanced lab using the new card. The room was 3 times the size of Lab 9, filled with cutting-edge machines, 3D printers, smart tools, and walls made of glowing glass. 3 engineers were already waiting. They introduced themselves. Yen, a quiet man with sharp eyes and a love for details. Tari, a cheerful woman who specialized in battery systems. And Niv, a grumpy older technician who had been with Zenith for 20 years. Mina greeted them kindly. "We're going to build something useful, something that helps people." Yen nodded. "What's the plan?" Mina sketched a rough design on the table screen. "We'll use compressed solar plates, backup cells, and smart cooling. It must survive dust, heat, and rough handling." Tari smiled. "Sounds like a fun challenge," Niv grunted. We'll see. Over the next few days, they worked hard. Mina led the team, guiding the design, solving problems, and listening to everyone's ideas. Though she was younger and newer than the rest, she earned their respect through her skills and humble nature. Even Niv began to trust her. "You've got good instincts, girl," he said one day. "Rare these days." Every night, Mina returned to her room feeling tired but happy. She had a purpose, a team, and the chance to do something real. She didn't know that Kale was watching her progress closely, checking reports, and even smiling at her name on the update logs. And deep inside, something gentle had begun to grow. A quiet bond between the CEO who lived among stars and the girl who once walked through dust. Weeks passed quickly, and Mina's name started to become known in Zenith Corp's upper floors. What started as a small opportunity had turned into something far greater. Her portable energy unit design, simple, strong, and smart, had passed its first field test. Sector 12 now had power that lasted for days, even during grid failure. The people there cheered when they saw the unit working. Children clapped. Old men thanked the engineers. Mina watched it all through a live cam, tears shining in her eyes. For the first time in her life, she felt like her work had real meaning. Every morning, she arrived early at the lab. Her team respected her. They no longer called her the new girl. Niv brought her tools without being asked. Tari often shared lunch with her. Even Yen, quiet as ever, began opening up with ideas and solutions. Kale visited the lab often, more than he needed to. At first, Mina thought he just wanted to follow the project. But slowly, she noticed the way he talked to her, not like a boss, but like someone who truly cared. They often ended up walking together through the sky gardens after work, discussing ideas, sharing tea, and even laughing over strange designs from old history books. One evening, while they sat near the fountain surrounded by glowing plants, Mina asked softly, "Why do you come here so often?" Kale smiled. "Because this is the only place I can think clearly." "And it has nothing to do with me?" she teased. Kale looked at her, more serious now. "It has everything to do with you." Mina's heart skipped a beat, but she said nothing. She looked at the stars above instead. That night, she couldn't sleep. Inside Zenith Corp, news traveled fast, especially good news. The upper directors noticed Mina's name on multiple successful reports. Several departments asked for her insight. Some even tried to borrow her for their projects, but Kale refused politely. "She's leading something important," he would say. "Let her finish." Mina didn't know about those conversations. She was focused on the next goal, making the energy units cheaper, so they could be mass-produced for all poor sectors. One day, after hours of testing a new cooling system, she returned to her room, exhausted. As she entered, she saw something on her table, a small glass box with a glowing blue flower inside. A note lay beside it. "You bring light to the dark places. Keep going. K." She touched the glass gently and smiled. As her work grew, so did her connection with Kale. One weekend, he invited her to a private section of Vertex Tower, a place only a few people had ever seen. The rooftop sky observatory. "Why are we here?" Mina asked as the wind brushed her hair. Kale stood beside her, pointing at the sky. "Because I want to show you something." He tapped on his wristband. A part of the observatory's dome opened. A soft hum filled the air, and a large hologram appeared, showing the original plans for Nova Arc 7 from 100 years ago. Mina watched in wonder. The early vision of the colony had small homes, green parks, balanced energy lines, and no class division. "This is what it was supposed to be," Kale said. "Equal, peaceful, clean. What happened?" Mina asked quietly. "Greed," he replied. "Corruption. People stopped caring." "And you?" she asked. "I want to fix it," Kale said, looking into her eyes. "With people like you." Mina felt her cheeks grow warm. But I'm just someone from the bottom. That's where change begins, Kale replied. The next week, Kale arranged a presentation for all the department heads. Mina was nervous. She had never spoken in front of so many high-level people. Kale stood beside her as she prepared. Just speak from your heart, he said. She nodded. When the moment came, Mina stepped onto the platform. She spoke slowly, clearly, about the struggles of the lower sectors. She explained how the new energy unit was not just a machine, it was hope. It gave families light, heat, and safety. She ended her speech by showing the video of Sector 12, celebrating. The room was silent for a few moments. Then came applause. Loud and long. Even the strict finance director smiled. Mina stepped back, her hands trembling, but Kale placed his hand gently on her shoulder. You did it, he said. After the presentation, rumors started to spread across the tower. Who is she? She came from the lower district, right? The CEO spends a lot of time with her. She's different, not like the others. Mina heard whispers, but she tried to ignore them. She still worked hard. She still stayed late at the lab. She still walked the same way, with simple clothes, quiet eyes, and tools in her hands. But inside, her confidence grew. She had found her place. She had found people who respected her. And maybe, just maybe, she had found something else too. One evening, as she left the lab, she saw Kale waiting near the garden bridge. Walk with me? He asked. She nodded. They walked in silence for a while, the lights of the colony glowing around them. Then Kale stopped. Mina, he said, turning toward her. You've done more in a few weeks than most do in years. You've changed how I see things. You've changed me. Mina looked at him, her heart racing. I don't know where this path leads, he continued. But if you're willing, I'd like to walk it with you. Mina's eyes softened. She didn't need fancy words or promises. She just needed to know he was real. I'm willing, she whispered. And with that, two different worlds, one of steel and towers, the other of dust and dreams, quietly took their first steps towards something new. Everything seemed perfect. Mina's design for the energy unit was now being mass-produced. Sectors 10, 11, and 14 had already received the units. People in the lower zones had electricity again. Children could study at night. Families could cook without fear of sudden blackouts. Mina's dream was coming true. And Kale, he was no longer just the CEO to her. He had become her closest friend, her supporter, and something even deeper. Their connection was quiet but strong. They didn't need to say much. A look, a smile, or just sitting together after a long day meant everything. But every light casts a shadow, unseen by Mina. Someone inside the tower had been watching her rise with sharp eyes and growing jealousy. His name was Director Varn, a senior executive of Zenith Corp. He had been in the company for over 20 years, and many believed he would be the next in line before Kale took over. Varn was clever, but his heart was cold. He saw Mina not as a hero, but as a threat. How can a poor street girl win the trust of the CO. And his mother? He grumbled to himself, staring at the report that had Mina's name on top. What does she really want? Varn was not interested in helping people. His goal was profit. And the new energy units Mina designed, which were cheap and easy to produce, were not making the company enough money. Investors were asking questions. Why are we giving these away instead of selling them for high prices? To protect his power, Varn made a plan. One morning, while Mina worked in the lab with Tari and Yen, two security officers entered. Technician Mina. One officer said, "You are under investigation for data theft. Please come with us." Mina froze. What? Tari stood up. There must be some mistake. The officer held up a report. She has been linked to a leak of confidential energy tech blueprints found in the black market. Yen shook his head. Mina would never, but they didn't listen. Mina was taken to the security floor. her badge was deactivated. Her lab access removed. She was placed in a holding room with cold lights and no windows. She sat on the metal bench, confused and heartbroken. What's happening? She whispered. Meanwhile, Cale sat in his office when Alara entered with a serious look on her face. Have you heard? She asked. Yes, Cale said, standing quickly. They're accusing Mina. Alara narrowed her eyes. And do you believe it? Of course not, Cale replied. But someone is trying to ruin her. I warned you, Cale, Alara said gently. Your success creates enemies. I'm going to get to the bottom of this, he said firmly. Cale called his personal security team and ordered a full investigation, no restrictions. He knew Mina. She was honest, loyal, and never once asked for reward. Someone had set her up. Back in the holding room, Mina stared at the floor. Her heart ached, not because of the arrest, but because she thought Cale might doubt her. Just then, the door opened. Alara entered quietly. Mina stood up. I didn't do it, she said quickly. I swear. I would never sell, I know. Alara said, walking over to her. I believe you. Mina felt tears build up in her eyes. But why is this happening? Because you're making a difference, Alara said. And those who only care about money feel threatened. Mina looked down. Maybe I shouldn't have come here. Alara gently lifted her chin. No, child, you belong here. And Cale is doing everything to clear your name. Trust him. Mina nodded slowly. That night, Cale's team found a hidden message trace in the company's system. Someone had copied the energy unit's blueprint and sent it to an unknown external server. But when they followed the data path, they found something important. The signal didn't come from Mina's lab account. It came from a different ID, Director Varn's. Cale stared at the screen. His jaw tightened. He thought blaming Mina would protect him. He walked to the main broadcast control room and made a decision. Prepare the system for a live message to the entire colony. The operator blinked. Now? Yes, right. Now. The next morning, every screen across Nova Arc 7 flickered and lit up with Cale's face. He stood tall, his voice calm but strong. Citizens of Nova Arc 7, he said, I come to you today not as a CEO, but as a man who values truth. He explained the false charges against Mina, the investigation, and the real traitor, Director Varn. Then he showed evidence on the screen. Data trails, logs, security cam footage. Varn's face appeared. The crowd watching from homes, streets, and towers gasped. Cale continued. Mina, a brilliant young woman who rose from nothing, gave us a gift, an energy system that saves lives. And for that, someone tried to silence her. People cheered. Some clapped. Even those who didn't know Mina felt inspired. Cale ended with these words. In this colony, truth matters. Kindness matters. And people like Mina remind us who we really are. Back in the tower, Mina watched the broadcast in silence. Tears ran down her cheeks. A guard entered moments later and handed her back her badge. You're free, he said softly. They cleared everything. Mina stepped out of the room and saw Cale waiting for her down the hall. He walked toward her, slowly at first, then faster. They met halfway. Mina looked up at him. You believed in me, she whispered. Always, he said. And without another word, Cale pulled her into a gentle hug, one that held trust, warmth, and something more. Later that evening, Alara sat on a bench near the garden and smiled to herself. She had seen many people come and go in her life, but Mina, she was something special. A poor girl with a heart full of courage had not only changed her own life, but had also touched the future of the entire colony. And as stars began to shine above the glass dome, Alara whispered to the wind, she is ready. Days passed since the scandal ended. Mina's name was cleared. Director Varn had been arrested and removed from Zenith Corp. His selfish plans were exposed, and he lost the respect of the people forever. Mina returned to her work, but everything felt different now. Her team welcomed her with joy. People she had never met before smiled when she passed by. Even the guards nodded at her with respect, but deep inside, Mina still felt unsure. So much had changed. She had come from a poor district, living with her little brother in a broken home. And now she stood among the richest and most powerful people of Nova Arc 7. Was she really ready for this life? One evening, while the sky outside the dome turned purple and gold, Kale invited her to the garden. Mina came quietly, her long coat fluttering behind her. She found Kale waiting near the glass fountain, his hands behind his back, eyes watching the stars. "You wanted to see me?" she asked. Kale turned and smiled. "Yes, I thought you needed some fresh air after the last few days." Mina gave a small nod. "It's peaceful here." Kale walked beside her. "I've always come here to think, whenever things get hard." Mina looked at him. "Why me, Kale? Why did you believe me when others didn't?" Kale paused, then said softly, "Because the first time I met you, I didn't even know who you were. But you were helping someone who was weak. You didn't ask for a reward. You didn't even know she was my mother. That kind of heart. It's rare." Mina blushed slightly. "I just did what I thought was right. And that," he said, "is exactly why I trust you." They walked in silence for a while, listening to the soft sound of the wind through the leaves. Then Kale stopped. "I want to show you something." He reached into his coat and pulled out a small box. It was silver with tiny golden lines. He opened it slowly. Inside was a ring, simple yet beautiful. It had a tiny blue gem in the center, like a drop of sky. Mina's eyes widened. "What?" Kale looked at her, his voice calm but firm. "Mina, I've built towers, systems, and cities. I've solved problems most people run away from. But when I look at you, I realize I still have a lot to learn." She didn't speak. Her heart was pounding. "You've taught me about kindness, about courage, and about hope," he continued. "So I'm asking, will you walk with me, not just as a friend or partner in work, but as my life partner?" Mina stared at him, unable to believe what she heard. She looked at the ring, then at Kale. "Me?" she whispered. "Yes," he said. "You," she smiled, a tear escaping her eye. "But I'm just a girl from the lower district. I don't belong to your world." Kale stepped closer. "You belong wherever your heart leads you. And my world means nothing if you're not in it." Mina slowly reached out and touched the ring, and then quietly she said, "Yes." The news spread quickly. The CEO of Zenith Corp was marrying a girl from the lower sector, a girl who once fixed street lamps and gave blankets to cold strangers. Some people were surprised. Some were shocked, but most were inspired. They saw hope in Mina's story, a reminder that no matter where you come from, you can rise with honesty and kindness. Ilara, Kale's mother, smiled proudly as she watched her son walk hand in hand with the woman who once defended her in a crowded street. "She's perfect," she said quietly to herself. The wedding was held in the Sky Hall, the tallest glass building in Nova Arc 7. It was simple but beautiful. Flowers from every sector were brought in, blue petals from the hills, golden vines from the greenhouses, and white blossoms from the water gardens. Mina wore a gown made by local workers, soft white with silver threads. Not too fancy, but shining in its own way. Kale wore a gray suit with a blue pin, the color of the ring he gave her. Their vows were short but full of meaning. "I saw you when no one else did," Mina said. "And you gave me a place to dream again." Kale smiled. "You saved my mother, helped my people, and changed my heart." When they said, "I do," the entire hall clapped, even some who once doubted her. But the best moment came after the ceremony. Mina walked out onto the balcony, where the stars above seemed to dance. Kale joined her, wrapping a warm coat around her shoulders. "What are you thinking?" he asked. She smiled. About my brother, about my old home. About how far we've come. We'll visit your home tomorrow, Cale said. No cameras, no speeches, just us. Mina nodded. I want him to know that even in this world of glass and power ... kindness still wins. Cale looked at her with pride. With you by my side, I believe that. The next day, Mina and Cale visited the lower district in a plain vehicle. No guards, no attention. They met Mina's younger brother, Arel, who ran to her and hugged her tightly. You look like a princess, he said. Mina laughed. Only because someone believed in me. Cale knelt beside Arel and handed him a small toolkit. You're smart like your sister. Let's see what you build. Next. Arel's eyes lit up. And for the first time in a long while, Mina felt at home, not because of wealth or status, but because of love, family, and dreams coming true. That evening, as stars filled the sky once more, the citizens of Nova Arc 7 gathered in the streets to celebrate not just the marriage of a CEO and a poor girl, but the truth behind it, that courage has no class, that kindness is power. That even in a world of towers and machines, a pure heart can change everything. And somewhere far above, watching from a quiet garden, Alara smiled again. The future was in good hands.